What's going on, guys? What's going on, Thai Squad? What's going on, everybody? So the OKC Thunder blow a 15-point lead in Game One, and I'm going to say this: this was a 1-point game win for the Pacers. Halliburton hits a shot, and I'm going to say this: it's that this Pacers team comes back from a 15 deficit. They came back from a 20 deficit against the Cavaliers, came back from a 30, came back from a 17 deficit against the Bucks, a 10 deficit, a 10-point lead against the New York Knicks. This Pacers team is something special. And I definitely think that this Pacers team is something special because of the fact that when we look at it, the Pacers have Siakam, they have Halliburton, they have Naismith. And I think going into this Game 1, you had to get one game. And OKC has to refine back. I don't know what that could be. I don't know if they're going to change the lineup. But I do think we're going to see a very long series. And I definitely think that the Paul George, this finals, the Paul George trade for both teams that Paul George played for the OKC Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. This is a butterfly effect here. Because with this, you do not, if Paul George doesn't get traded, I know I'm about to get off topic here, but I'll get back to my take in a second. If Paul George doesn't get traded, these two teams are not in the finals right now. These two teams are not in the finals if Paul George doesn't get traded or ask for a trade. But back to what I have to say about this game is that OKC, you drop a 15 OKC, you blow a 15-point lead. Like the Indiana Pacers are most definitely a comeback team that isn't going to play around. This comeback team looks like a team that could honestly win a championship. If the Pacers don't win Game 1, we're sitting here today saying the OKC Thunder won this game just because of Shea scoring 38 and the entire OKC team showing up. That is what we would be talking about today. And everybody would be talking about today. But my thing about that is this is going to be a good series. You cannot count out the Pacers. I get that the OKC Thunder has the better team on paper, has a good defense, has the MVP. We can say all of that. But when you don't win game 1 on your home court, there's going to be questions. There is definitely going to be questions on why did the Pacers? How did the Pacers get game 1? And I'm going to say this, Halliburton is a star. We're going to have to start putting Halliburton in that conversation with Michael Jordan, with LeBron James, with Steph, with Giannis, with Magic Johnson, with Julius Erving. Like, we're going to have to start putting Halliburton and Shea in that conversation. Because of the fact that Halliburton is a superstar. You can say Halliburton isn't. You can say Halliburton isn't. But for me, I'm going to say Halliburton is a superstar. This game was very, very close. If Halliburton doesn't hit that shot, we're sitting here today saying Shea scored 38 points. Will OKC win game 2? We're sitting here today saying OKC might be down 2-0 on Sunday. OKC might have to make adjustments. Because the way that OKC looked was not what we saw against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Not what we saw against in this playoffs. OKC, we did not see this OKC's team go against everybody in the West and finish with the number 1 seed and had that number 1 seed all year long. We weren't able to see that last night. All we saw was a OKC team that just looked lost out there. Yes, we can say Shea scored 38. But they definitely looked lost. They played decent basketball. I can give them credit for that. But they also looked like they weren't ready for game one. They weren't ready for Indiana. And I know Shea is the MVP. But with Shea, he has scored the most, he had the most points ever in a game one, in a game one, in a game one against the Indiana Pacers. Shea is going to have to score 38. OKC was not ready to face the Pacers. We saw a different OKC team that really wasn't ready to face the Pacers. It looked like they were ready to face the Minnesota Timberwolves, to face the Memphis Grizzlies, to face the Los Angeles Lakers. I get that they have the best defense. I get that they had the best record in the West. But you're not certainly, you're going to let Indiana take the lead in the fourth quarter, and that's their only lead in the fourth quarter, and you were leading the entire game? What we saw last night from OKC was Shea balling. Nobody else showed up. When this team has not been to an NBA Finals since 2012, OKC is probably right now watching the film, watching the tape of game one, and saying, how can we beat the Pacers game two? How can we do this? Because the Pacers are not a team to be messed around with. They run a fast pace. They share the basketball. This just was not a game that we were going to see from OKC. Like, Shea's going to have to put up 38. Because Shea is that guy. He won the MVP. He should have won MVP last year. I'm not knocking that off from Jokic. I'm not, because when we look at this, you lose this game 111 to 110. And like Siakam for the Pacers, score 19 and 3 and 10 boards. Naismith, 12 boards, 1 assist, 10 points. Halliburton, 10 boards, 6 points, 14 points. And Halliburton didn't have that type of game that we're able to see. This Pacers team isn't going back down, man. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to 7. Because you had Shea scoring 38, 3, and 5 in 40 minutes. Chet Holmgren, only 6 boards. J-Dub, only 4 boards in 17. Lu Dort brought in 15. Like you cannot blow a 15-point lead, and we're sitting here talking about, everybody's talking about, how do you blow a 15-point lead? Because now it seems like to me that if the Pacers have a deep team. The Pacers aren't going to back down. If the Pacers win game 2, it's over. The series is over. You can bring out the brooms if the Pacers win game 2. If the Pacers win game 2, like I said, you can bring out the brooms because the series is over. But both teams are in this. But you cannot say for a minute that how do you blow a 15-point lead? Because you know the Pacers are good coming back. They aren't a team that isn't going to be like, okay, we dropped this. How can we get this back? They are just not that kind of team that is going to drop a game because of the fact of that when the Pacers are having and sharing the basketball There is no way for any team to blow a 15-point lead. I don't know how you can blow a 15-point lead. You probably blew this out of the water. This is just something that this is just something that probably game two, you're going to have to say, what else can we do? Because it seems like if you let Halliburton have that type of game that he had, or have like the type of series or the game that he had against New York, against the Knicks, if you have Halliburton have a good game next game, the series is over. Like I said, you can bring out the brooms. You can bring out the brooms, even though both of these teams had, like I said before, had Paul George on their team. This doesn't mean anything. It just seems like with this team, the Pacers just ran all over OKC. You can't put it at anything else except saying that the Pacers ran over OKC. Because if you blow a 15-point lead, if you blow a 20-point lead, if you blow a 25-point lead, a 28-point lead, because we saw, I'm going to bring this up, and I feel like Atlanta Falcons fans will get kind of mad at me, but I'm going to get the elephant in the room. We seen the Falcons in a Super Bowl against the Patriots. I am bringing this up as an example. We seen them blow a 28-3 lead. And we're sitting here today saying that OKC blew a 15-point lead. And when we go to like the box scores, when we go to the box scores, like Halliburton with 14, like they basically D'd up Halliburton the entire game, and you let him hit a shot. You just left him wide open. If you don't leave Halliburton wide open, the Pacers wouldn't won this game. The big thing for OKC is the turnovers. We saw less turnovers from OKC. We saw more turnovers from the Pacers. Because we can say that the Pacers are a good team. That the Pacers can get a win here. Because if you're up 1-0, right now the OKC is probably watching film, watching the tape of game 1. They have to figure out here how to win a game. Because if you don't win this game, the series is over. But I do think it's going into 7 games. But the series right now, we're in for a long series. Because I feel like OKC will come back in this series. Guys, sub if you're new and never give up your dreams. And I hope all of you guys are safe out there. And thanks for watching. And stay blessed, everybody, and peace.